Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya, Gauranitai Jaya, Gauranitai, Gauranitai Jaya, Gauranitai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astotra Tata Sisima Divine Grace is Pandacharya Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Maharaj Ke Jai. Jaya Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astotra Tata Sisima Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Prabhupada Maharaj Ke Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavina Ke Jai, Namacharya Sri Haridas Gaur Ke Jai, Prem Si Kahau Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Si Advaita Gadadhara Si Vasadi Si Gaura Bhaktavina Ke Jai, Sri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ke Jai, Sri Vrindavan Mathura Dham Ke Jai, Sri Mayapanamadev Dham Ke Jai, Sri Jagannath Dham Ke Jai, Ayodhya Dham Ke Jai, Ganga Mai, Yamuna Mai Ke Jai, Samita Tulsi Devi, Bhakta Devi Ke Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Devi Ke Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Our glories to the sum of the devotees. Our glories to the sum of the devotees. Our glories to the sum of the devotees. Our glories to Sri Guru and Guranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narancheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasa Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nasa Paye Subhadrisu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloka Bhakti Bhavaitinaistiki Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3 and Canto 2 Chapter 3 Text 20. Title of this chapter is Pure Devotional Service. So this is the time to utilize. Prabhupada say utility is the principle. It's time to utilize your smartphones. You use your smartphones wisely, but this time. Usually, the smartphone is a distraction to every devotional aspect, but you can also use it meaningfully. All right. Bile Bhatto Rukrama Vikramam Ye
Vile Bhakto Vikramaniye
Asrivanta Kanapute Narasya
Nashrimata Karakute Narasya
Jivasati Daduru Keva Sutta
Jivasati Dhanuke Vasudha
Nach Nacho Pagayatya Nacho Pagayati Rugaya Gataha
Nacho Bhagayati Rudayata
Bile Baturu Krama Vikramam Ye
Vile Bhakto Vikramaniye
Nasrivanta Kanapute Narasya
Nashrimata Karakute Narasya
Jivasati Da Durikeva Sutta
Jivasati Dhanuke Vasudha
Nacho Pagayati Urughaya Gattaha.
Nacho Bhagayati Rudayata
Can someone try?
Vile Bhakto Vikramaniye Nashrimata Karakute Narasya Jivasati Dhanuke Vasudha
So, word for word translation. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace is confounded in China. Is back to be done to Swami Papa Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Bile. Snake holes. Bata. Like. Urukrama. The Lord who acts marvelously. Vikramam. Prowess. Yeah, all these. Na, never. Srivantaha. Heard. Karnapute. The art holes. The ear holes. Narasya. Of the man. Jiva. Tongue. Asati. Useless. Dadurika. Of the frogs. Iva. Exactly like that. Sutta. Oh, Sutta Goswami. Na. Never. Cha. Also. Upagayati. Chants loudly. Urugaya. What singing? Yattaha. Songs. Translation: one who has not listened to the messages about the prowess and marvelous acts of the personality of God, and has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy songs about the Lord, is to be considered to possess ear holes like the holes of snakes, and a tongue like the tongue of a frog. Can it responsibly repeat? One who has not listened to the messages about the prowess and marvelous acts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy songs about the Lord, is to be considered
is to be considered
to possess ear holes,
to possess ears
like the holes of snakes,
like the holes of snakes,
and a tongue like the tongue of a frog.
and tongue like the tongue of a frog.
This is a very good comparison. And purport, devotional service to the Lord is rendered by all limbs or parts of the body. It is the transcendental dynamic force of the spirit soul. Therefore, a devotee is engaged 100% in the service of the Lord. One can engage in devotional service when the senses of the body are purified in relation with the Lord. And one can render service to the Lord with the help of all the senses. As such, the senses and the action of the senses are to be considered impure or materialistic as long as they are employed only in sense gratification. The purified senses are engaged not in sense gratification, but in the service of the Lord in total. The Lord is the supreme with all senses, and the servitor, who is part and parcel of the Lord, also has the same senses. Service to the Lord is the completely purified use of the senses, as described in the Bhagavad Gita. The Lord imparted instructions with full senses, and Arjuna received them with full senses. And thus there was a perfect exchange of sensible and logical understanding between the master and the disciple. Spiritual understanding is nothing like an electrical charge from the master to the disciple, as foolishly claimed by some propaganda mongers. Everything is full of sense and logic, and the exchange of views between the master and the disciple is possible only when the reception is submissive and real. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that one should receive the teaching of Lord Chaitanya with intellect and full senses, so that one can logically understand the great mission. In the impure state of living being, the various senses are fully engaged in mundane affairs. In the ears, if the ear is not engaged in the service of the Lord, by hearing about him from Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, certainly the holes of the ear will be filled with some rubbish. Therefore, the messages of the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam should be preached all over the world very loudly. That is the duty of a pure devotee who has actually heard about them from the perfect sources. Many want to speak something to others, that because they are not trained to speak on the subject matter of Vedic wisdom, they are all speaking nonsense, and people are receiving them with no sense. There are hundreds and thousands of sources for distributing mundane news of the world, and people of the world are also receiving it. Similarly, the people of the world should be taught to hear the transcendental topics of the Lord, and the devotee of the Lord must speak loudly so that they can hear. The frogs loudly croak, with the result that they invite the snakes to eat them. The human tongue is especially given for chanting the Vedic hymns and not for croaking like frogs. The word asati used in this verse is also significant. Asati means a woman who has become a prostitute. A prostitute has no reputation for good womanly qualities. Similarly, the tongue which is given to the human being for chanting the Vedic hymns will be considered A prostitute, when engaged in chanting some mundane nonsense. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyana Jana Salaka Saksur Militam Yena Tasma Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Saptitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Badati Swa Padantikam Pancha Kalpatari Bhaja Kripasunam Yaye Bhaja Patitanam Pavanam Bhyo Vaishnam Bhyo Namo Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Smate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Itina Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaura Vani Pacharine Nirvishesa Sonyavara Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama. This text is very, very insightful because in this text, Srila Vasudev giving the analogy, comparing the holes that we have, the mouth, the ears, to really a practical situation. Nobody wants to put their legs in the hole of a snake. Anybody wants to put their legs in the hole of a snake? You see, this is the hole of a python, and you put your leg in there. That you get a massage. Immediately you tell that to somebody that you are a snake therapist and that you just put your leg, you tell your client, put your leg inside this hole. This is the hole of a python. There's a python inside here. Put your leg inside here, and it's very therapeutic. You will not want to do it, no matter how helpless you may be. So, people of this world, we have ears, we have mouths, but our mouths and ears, especially in our conditioned existence, before we came to devotional service, our mouths and ears are used for abominable things. Mouths used for eulogizing other frogs and hogs. Yeah, this verse is similar to the verse of the other day. And it's interesting how Srila Vyasadeva, put things together, and things are very much in alignment with real reality. There's nothing abstract. This is the philosophy of life. You can relate the philosophy to what is transpiring in a human society. There's nothing abstract in Krishna consciousness philosophy. The philosophy that you can relate to with everyday reality. In other words, the philosophy addresses issues. It's not just about philosophizing, but it addresses issues. And we see that people are engaged in all this type of nonsensical activities. If a musician wants to get money from the prime minister or from the president of a country, he just composes a very nice song about the president, and he goes to sing it to his hearing, and then the president feels, oh, I'm so great. I'm a deity. If the same musician composes a song and is insulting the president, will get him arrested. So this is how the world people are operating in this world. And we tend to forget that the tongue should be used to loudly chant Krishna's names. That's the business of the tongue, to take only Krishna Prasada. And when we do things that are not in alignment with these principles, we get entangled, we get into trouble. Of course, sometimes some people will tell you that you just need to chant Krishna's name only. You don't need to do any other thing. But my question to you is, will Krishna prepare the halwa and sweet rice in the spiritual world and throw it to you? Huh? Bolo. Krishna does that sometimes to his devotees, to his pure devotees. He prepares the halwa, the sweet balls, the golab jamas, and Goloka Vrindavan, and then sends it to the pure devotees. He throws it down from Goloka Vrindavan. So sometimes we are not practical, we just philosophize. We just philosophize and we're not practical. We say things that are completely outside of track. And all in the name of preaching, all in the name of propagating philosophy of life. So we're preaching Krishna consciousness, but we should be practical too. And so we have senses, the Lord has senses, and so our senses should be used in serving the master of the senses. The Lord is called Rishikesh, master of the senses. The common explanation in the Bhagavatam is that if all the limbs of the body serve the body, then the limbs also benefit from that. The hands will not separately try to eat the food. But if the hands help in preparing the food, cutting the vegetables, putting things in the pot and cooking, and when the food is eaten, the hands will also become nourished. So this is all about simple, practical approach to life. And so we have senses, the Lord has senses. If we have senses, how can we deny the Lord of senses? That means you're superior to God. And that's what the impersonalists say. The Lord, because he is transcendental, is not supposed to have senses. He has senses, but his senses are also transcendental. His senses are interchangeable. That's what Lord Brahma says in the Brahma Samhita. Our sensory modalities are not interchangeable, but the Lord's sensory modalities are interchangeable. He can use his eyes to eat. Have you seen some devotees who use their eyes to eat? They're so pure, so they use their eyes to eat. It's not the Lord who has that potency. If we try to imitate the Lord, that will not be good enough. So we assume our position as servants. Papa gives example of Arjuna and Krishna. There was some interpersonal relationship, interactions. And that's why Lord Krishna mentions that if we want to learn, we want to cultivate spiritual devotional life, we have to do that on practical terms, one-on-one, face-to-face. Because even according to modern scientific research, face-to-face interactions are more productive than online interactions. Have you seen people eating online? You can buy the food online, but can you eat online? Yeah. So uh, there are all of these facilities, but they are to help us. They bring us down to face-to-face interaction. You can get a girl or a boy to marry online, but when the real marriage happens face-to-face. These days, there are all of these websites for marriage. It's okay. But that is just a preliminary stage. This is a facilitator. When the whole thing is settled, it's a face-to-face business. So how do we characterize a relationship with the Lord devoid of face-to-face interactions? Or a cultivation of spiritual information that is devoid of a face-to-face interaction. Yeah. So let's be real. And reality is next to godliness. Reality is next to godliness. Reality is next to godliness. Yeah. Krishna is real. Okay? And if we are real and practical, we're getting close there. It will make it easy for us to have access to Krishna. Because Krishna is real. And if we say we're not real, we're not realistic about our attempts in serving the Lord, then there's a snag there. So it's important for us to utilize our ears and our mouths, our buccal cavities, and our auditory meatus in serving the Lord. The sound goes into the ear and it goes to the brain through the facilitation of the auditory meatus. Okay, those who study biology, they know this. They know this. And so, if we say we block the auditory meatus, the sound is not going to penetrate. The sound is not going to penetrate into the ear to affect the conscious, that can affect the brain. And Krishna is so amazing, so wonderful, so merciful. He gives us all of these facilities so that we don't have to go and borrow the senses anywhere. It is there with us. We just engage them in the service of the Lord. Imagine if you have to go and borrow a mouth, or you have to. It could be a difficult thing to serve the Lord. So Krishna endows us with all his potentials so that we don't have to worry ourselves. Yeah. But the snag is that if one is not able to use all of these facilities in glorifying Lord Krishna, then this is pretty unfortunate. Yes, it's a good time. So that is all. That is what this verse is all about. Yeah, Krishna is giving us all of these facilities, these potentials, big intellect. So if we don't use all of these facilities in serving the Lord, then we're missing the whole point. The mouth should be used in glorifying the Lord. And so it's heavy here in this text because Srila Vyasadeva says that we need to chant loudly the glories of Urukram. And this very word is interesting. Urukram and Vikram. Vikram means prowess. The Lord is our prowess. The Lord is our Vikram. We may have power, but whose prowess? Krishna's. In fact, Krishna mentions in the Gita that he is the prowess in man. So we may have strength, we may have the power to do so many amazing things. But whose prowess? Who gives you the power? I mean, Hiranyakasipu asked Prahlad, where did you get all this power? The boy said, the same place where you got yours. The same source. So, all of these things that we have is to facilitate our devotional development. We should use it to develop our consciousness. We should use the legs to go to theaters. We should use the mouth to glorify the Lord. We should use the ears to hear bhajans, because it transforms our existence. Hearing the bhajans changes our cortisol levels. It's not a religion. It's science. It's science. Oh yeah. So, any comments or questions? What's the time now? Oh, we're on time. We still have about 10, 11 minutes. So, any comments or questions? Yes. Huh?
Ears are to be used for hearing and for mouth has to be used for speaking. Like that you were also explaining that there are so many other senses which also has to be used. So Prabhupada in the purport is also explaining about preaching. So can you explain how preaching and this aspect of speaking and purification and all these aspects connect together?
Yeah, I will listen to Prabhupada's lecture on this very text in Los Angeles in 1972. Prabhupada was really very heavy, Even he told the devotees that you are Europeans. He said, "You are Europeans, and your grandparents, they came here to seize the land, and you are claiming that you are in charge of this place." And he characterized this so-called enjoyment people are embarking on as criminal enjoyment. He said, we are criminals. Because we're not utilizing what Krishna has given to us for the purpose that was given to us. A criminal may have good intentions. But he commits crimes. The good intention is not what is the problem. What is your action? Good intention, very good. But what is your action? So in Kali Yuga, people are not judged by their good intentions. We are judged by our actions. And so Prabhupada was mentioning in that class in Los Angeles in 1972 that especially the preachers, especially the seances, they have to develop different strategies to spread the holy names. To put the holy names in the holes of those snakes. That's what Prabhupada said. To put the holy names in the holes of those snakes. Don't put your leg in the holes of the snake. Put the holy names in the holes. So, He's giving us some clue on how, and that's what Lord Chaitanya came to do. Lord Chaitanya came to inaugurate the Sankirtan movement. It's not sophisticated. Lord Chaitanya did not go to universities and present papers, and he just spread the holy names. And that is the essence of our movement, Harinam, to spread Krishna. That's our business. Everything else we do, maybe sophisticated, technical, and all this, is to bring people to the holy names. Yeah. So we shouldn't think that, I'm having university presentations, I have this number of publications, so, wow, I'm great. You're not doing. The essence is we have to do all of this is to facilitate putting the holy names in the holes of the snakes. Yeah. I mean, it's like, my research paper, which received an award at the World Academy of Science, Engineering and Technology in London on June 28, 2021. It's technical, okay? But it's about what? The holy names. Yeah. So we have to devise means to put the holy names in the holes of the snakes. Yeah, that is the whole thing. But it's difficult because the direct preaching is pretty easy. But you're using the technical skills, intellectual skills to spread Krishna consciousness. Of course, the level of people you meet, they're not people on the street. And Prabhupada wanted that. That's why he set up the Bhaktivedanta Institute. And that's why basically one of the things I do is that I encourage young people, especially people who come close to me. I encourage young people to go high in their career in school, so that, because that is what is lacking in our movement. We have built cities, we have built expensive temples, but we don't have that capacity of utilizing our intellect in planting the seeds of devotion in an academic setting. The Catholics, they were very expert in that. I know of Catholic Reverend Fathers who are head of department for Islamic studies. Catholic Reverend Fathers. Yeah. And those are like our Swamis. They are all very, very great intellectuals. They are PhDs. They are their Swamis. And so then they plant them in different places. Has a Reverend Father, a Christian, a head of department for Islamic studies in the Federal University. So you tell me, when those students, when they graduate, will they ever go to attack Christians? No. Because they know their master is a Christian. Their professor, person who trained them up, is a Christian. That we are lacking. That's why some people who have inclination for learning, they should go to the top. And when you have a highly intellectual person speaking, I remember, I like telling this story. I went to University of Pondicherry for a conference presentation. And now I went in my Vaishnav dress. And traditionally, when you go to conferences, those of you go to conferences, you go to conferences, the scholars will just find fault with each other. The devotees, they find the good in what you say, but the scholar, no, we find the fault in what you say. So then I made a presentation. I think something having to do with integrating the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita with leadership. So then after making the presentation, one of the professors, during question and answers, one of the professors, he asked, I thought he was going to ask our traditional system of criticizing your presentation. But then, no, he just said that, Dr. Das, you're not born in India. But now you are leading an Indian origin spiritual organization, and you're also a big time scholar. Tell us how you came by this so that we can follow your footsteps. That was it. That was what he said. None of us. Tell us your journey. And after the conference, he came with his mother. His mother is a young professor, young guy, young PhD. And his mother was accompanying him to conferences. Yeah, that's a good attachment, right? Yeah, so it makes preaching so easy. You don't need to work too hard. People just see you. You have values they don't have. Yeah, they have the degrees, you have the degree, but they don't have spiritual values. So then they just forced to become friendly with you. They want to understand how you came by this, so that they can also act in that way. So it's a preaching where you don't endeavor. It's just like a time bomb. You plant yourself somewhere, and someone sees your values and then become attracted to you. They want to become Krishna conscious. Yes.
Hey Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much. It's also wonderful for the snake. Maharaj, I want to ask how, like you set a wonderful example in your life of being high in scholarly education, and same way being so fixed up in Krishna consciousness. So, like, sometimes people do this with Bhagavad Gita also. They just take part of Bhagavad Gita what they like, and they don't take the other part. So, how to protect ourselves that we don't imitate you just for the scholarly study, but how to follow you holistically, that you are fixed up in the mission, you are fixed up in service to Prabhupada, you are fixed up in your sadhana. So it's sometimes at the cost of doing PhDs or being a doctor, CEO, and people say Maharaj had said so, do PhD, and they never come to temple. They only come when you come to temple. They only come when you come to temple. They never chant their rounds in the morning. So how not to make mess and how not to imitate you just on the material side, but to follow you holistically.
Yeah, I have some of my students who are really doing more than I do. Yeah. Yeah. See, my personal assistant in New York, when I was doing my PhD, she was my primary reviewer. She's a professor of law and health. She's a lawyer. So she will be the one to review my work before I send it to the professors. And now she's publishing. She's doing similar things I'm doing. And she goes to conferences. I was telling her to cool down because she's too much fired up with research and then going to this conference and this conference. Of course, she goes to the conferences. She drags her husband to go with her. So it's a training. If someone gets some proper training, then all of our presentations, I saw one of our presentation on dignity, and it was a recent presentation, but it has already gotten like 25 citations from other people. And in this work, she infiltrates the Krishna consciousness philosophy. She quotes Prabhupada's works. Yeah, these are purely legal stuff. But then, she brings in, and she's very much, she serves as the International Child Protection Office directly under the GBC. She works for the GBC. So it's the training, and I see this as my success, because if even I leave the world now, I have someone who is going to continue with those services that I'm doing. Well, you may say, oh, but he's a female. So what?
We couldn't get the last part.
You can say she's a female. So I said, so what? We are not this body. So, yeah, people should be able to take everything. It's called hook, line, and sinker. Take everything, take wholesomely. Don't take a part. And then you miss the whole point. See, my spiritual master directly instructed me to do this service. So some of the things that happen, I mean, those of you who are in school studying, ask your professors whether they ever seen anybody, a single professor, who presented 3 research papers in one day. I presented 5 research papers in one day at Oxford. So it's not my making. This is the point. It's not my making. I'm just being used as an instrument. Krishna Sakti Vinanahe Tara Pravat. The one is the Krishna, the instructions from the spiritual master is also encapsulated with empowerment. And many of the devotees, even many of the disciples of my Guru Maharaj, who had him give the instruction to me, they thought I would never be able to make it. Because this guy is fully engaged in, in the temple and devotional service. How is he going to do that? But I did it. But it's not by my power. Because I sincerely wanted to execute his instruction. So walking under the directions of your spiritual master is what facilitates your devotional success. That's the point. If we say we want to just do the things based on the fact that we had some Swami said, follow the process that Srila Vasudev prescribed or recommended in the 11th text of the Upanishad, career and devotional practice, integration of career and devotional practice. It may sound highfalutin, but if we understand that we can utilize our skills in Krishna service and we dovetail it accordingly, then it will be beneficial to the society and uplift us. Because most of the places that I go to, and people just get attracted to Krishna consciousness because they see that, oh, it's a Swami, it's a guru, and it's a top scholar. You don't need big preaching. If at some places, I'll ask them that, okay, I've been in this movement for 40 years. You think I'm stupid? He just shuts you up, he shuts your mouth. Yeah, so we should not miss the point. That's a good point you raise. We should not miss the point of the goal of human life. Smata Vyat Satatam Vishnu Vishmata Vyat Najatus. We should utilize our human life wisely in helping others to come to Krishna consciousness and uplifting ourselves in Krishna consciousness. So in that way, we make an assessment of what we are doing every day. My life sometimes could be very rough. In fact, since I left America, I've not really slept good 6 hours in a night out of 24 hours. Most days I've been sleeping at 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, past 12. So it's not so easy. But some people have to do the dirty job.
And also in marriage, how you are managing with your sadhana? How you were managing with your sadhana? Because otherwise, now people will stop coming to morning glory and they'll say Maharaj was saying studying till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
No. My point is that I tried my very best to see that I should go to bed on time. And now I'm trying to program myself that I go back to because the major pressure that I was having is over. So I'm trying to make sure that after today, I have a class today at about 5:30 with this Chinese audience. And you see, when I talk for 2 hours, it drains my energy. It drains me like anything. I can feel it. I can't really focus on anything. And then some days, I remember when I was coming to London, they were putting me on 3 programs a day. I said, forget it. I said, forget it. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. So, but this is the nature of our movement. You say utility is the principle. The preacher is like a cow. So milk the cow, milk the cow, milk the cow. But if the cow gets sick, are you going to be able to facilitate the care? In some cases, no. So I try to check myself, and that's why one of the European countries I went, they didn't like my policies, but he didn't pay my ticket to come. So why you have to control me? I traveled for 3 hours to go to a particular place, and then I went back to the city, and he asked me to come back to that place for 3 hours. This old body. Then I said, no, I cannot do that. Yeah, I didn't get upset. I don't care. Go to hell. I don't care. Don't overuse. Don't try to overuse me. Yeah. So, our movement, we say Krishna consciousness, but in some of us we have this mentality of exploitation. The same mentality is there. It's just that we want to use Krishna as a facade. So I'm very sensitive to those things. I go to temple and you just want to use me. You didn't pay my ticket to come there. You just want to put me on 3 or 4 programs in a day. You think I don't have anything to do? I'm looking for your engagement. Yeah, so I'll try to see that if I go to South Africa, I'm going to go from there to some other country in Europe. But I've just examined the whole of my preaching for last year, and even the European tour. London is the most lucrative place. There I have people, intellectuals, outside programs. So my Guru Maharaj likes outside programs, social media, television, radio, and all this stuff. And London, the last program when I went there last time, before I came in there. So, yeah, there were some programs that the devotees organized, some of my friends organized for outside programs, and they were very good attendance, and highly intellectual people who attended. I remember I was telling the story of this girl after one of the programs, so she came to me to ask personal questions. And I thought that she was like an undergraduate student. And then I miscued. Uh, she already has a PhD in economics and she's filing in a second PhD. Yeah. Yeah. So I found those audience, that type of audience stimulating because they can relate with what I'm saying very easily. So then I decided that I'll go from South Africa. My friend has already paid the ticket for me to go from South Africa uh, to London. So from there, that will be in April 26th. And from there, I'll be able to decide which countries to go in the European tour. So yeah, I got the point. We should follow properly. The goal is to help in spreading Lord Chaitanya's mission, not for personal aggrandizement.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Just one more thing, Maharaj. You said, yeah, that's the last line, but not for the personal, because your PhD, your scholarly is getting fully utilized for Lord Chaitanya's mission. How we should not get carried away with like those who are grihastas and doing PhDs and they'll be making a lot of money. Yesterday, Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj was also saying that because these are because like working under somebody is like slavery, Shudra profession, whether doctors or engineers. So Maharaj was saying, Maharaj was telling me, close your eyes and ears. Doctors are Shudra. So I was saying, you can use your profession in helping devotees, but you have to utilize more and more money in service to Krishna. So Maharaj was making that point. So using the degrees and skills and the position in spreading Krishna consciousness and at the same time maintaining a moderate life so that we can give more to Krishna. So we want to hear from you. If you want to go back to Godhead in one lifetime, how much we should store for ourselves.
Okay, so listen, you're bringing a hard point here. Okay, do you want to hear the bitter truth?
Yes, 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 yes. We are devotees of Nimai.
When Rupa Goswami was to retire, he divided his assets. 50%, he gave it to the mission of the Lord. 25% he kept it for himself for emergencies when he was to retire. And 25% he gave it to his family. And 25% he kept it for himself for emergencies. So to be a professional and go back to Godhead is pretty easy. But here is the recommendation. Yeah.
So ongoing, like people think, oh, Maharaj, like Rupa Goswami said, after retirement. So in the current stage when people are making money, like my Guru Maharaj used to
Retirement, he has so much money that he already saved. So that money, that's how it should be utilized. But how many people are doing that in ISKCON? So that's the issue. So we may increase the number of lifetimes we come back here to do the devotional service. Yeah.
because Krishna sees how much we are holding back.
Yeah, Krishna is not looking at what you're giving. He's looking at what you're holding back. And that is why also a guru is one of the exceptional qualities of the guru is that the guru is a talent manager.
Yes.
Guru should be able to understand your potentials and unleash those potentials maximally in Krishna consciousness. So you can, sometimes people shy away from, and a number of these gurus, they've been against people going to school. I'm sorry to say this. But yeah. Because even just recently, one of my mentees in London, he told me a story. One Swami went to their community and is his friend's guru. So he went to go have darshan. And then his Swami, this is 21st century. 21st century. The Swami told him he's studying physics. In fact, when he was studying in his undergraduate studies, he told me one time, Maharaj, I also want to go ahead and get a PhD so I can preach like you. I said, good for you. So go for it. I give you my blessings. So, but then he used to bring some other devotees to me who are doing doing PhD in the London area. So then, when this great preacher of ISKCON went to their community, and he went to have darshan, and he told this young man, this European boy, stop your studies, move into the temple to be a brahmachari. Here is what a proper disciple told me in Florida. He took me returning to the temple. I mean, I like to be graphic. I tell you stories, but I give you graphic details about the structure and evidence. He took me from the beach. We went for Ratha Yatra on the beach. So he volunteered to drive me back to the temple. So we are going, and his proper disciple is on the level of my guru. I wouldn't ask him anything. I didn't ask him anything. He just opened up and started telling me he was studying medicine in the university when he met devotees, and they convinced him to leave his studies to join the temple to be a brahmachari. This is proper disciple. He was a little bit not knowing what to do, but then the devotees, they kept preaching to him, and then he left his studies. He brought a big trouble in his family because he was the only medical student in the family. So he left his studies, he moved to the temple. I repeat, a proper disciple told me this. Left his study, moved to the temple, became a brahmachari. He couldn't be a brahmachari, he got married afterwards. Then he told me, now I have children and a wife, but I don't have skills. This is what he told me. The people who are preaching that, stop your studies, just move to the temple, go be brahmacharis. You need to hear this. And people are still doing that. I went to one European country, I don't want to mention names, so that it doesn't seem as if I'm blaspheming some gurus. I once saw one brahmachari, young brahmachari, I said, what is your background? What's your educational background? He said he was studying undergraduate studies, and his Guru Maharaj said, stop his studies, move into the temple, go be brahmachari. It's still going on. It's still going on. Then when you see such people, if they eventually they got attracted. One boy in France. I don't want to mention his guru, but I was in New Mayapur in France. Big place, big facility. His guru is in charge of that place. So he did not even, he didn't go to college. He got attracted to devotional life, his guru, just after high school. So he was brahmachari. Okay. And then when he was in New Mayapur, one beautiful girl came. He told me the story, okay? One beautiful girl came for any service on the farm there, milking cows. The girl was, at the time, she was studying psychology. Beautiful French girl. And then he got attracted to her. And so they were trying to get married. And then the girl said that you have to go to school. No, I like telling stories so that current stories, not Puranic stories, so that you don't say, well, that happened 5,000 years ago or 20,000 years ago. I'm telling you, current news, breaking news.
Yes, Maharaj, you are very correct in saying that.
And so, in fact, he became even offensive to his guru. Because, the girl he wants to marry, she said, you have to go to school. Otherwise, how are you going to be responsible for my needs? I cannot be working for you. You have to go to school. So, he told me this story. He's been very upset with his guru. I said, why are you upset with your guru? He said, but his guru is supposed to give him directions about what he needs to do. I said, but you were above 18. You volunteered that you won't go to school. You like to be brahmachari. You like devotional service. Whose fault?
Like you, Maharaj, is saying that.
Whose fault?
So you should own responsibility, not to blame.
So, in fact, he messaged me, his guru is coming to France, that he wants to approach him and confront him. I said, please don't do this. You just destroy your spiritual life. He never forced you to not to go to school. You volunteered. You were above 18. By international standard, 18, you are an adult. You choose this path. Why are you blaming your guru? So I persuaded him not to go and confront his guru. He was determined to do it. Of course, I showed him what to do. He's doing his master's now. I showed him what to do. I didn't just listen to his story and then let go, but I showed him what to do. So he's very happy. The only thing is that he kept coming to me back every here and then. I remember the other time he contacted me to say this something. I said, see, I'm having some health problems. Consult somebody else to help you with this. Anyway, the point is, in most cases, we have never been practical. We want to engage people now. We don't care about their future. So I can't change ISKCON. I can't change your system. But the people who come close to me, I tell them what to do. My disciples, I tell them. In fact, I have a requirement of not just 4 regulatory principles and chanting 16 rounds, but in addition, you should have a bachelor's, at least a bachelor's degree, and do a Bhakti Sastri. Then I give you forced initiation. Then I can give you forced initiation. And somebody was asking, one scientist in Lacha was asking me, he teaches at the Gurukul, he was asking me that, why are you making the condition of bachelor's? I said, look at my works, look at my writings, look at my publication. My target audience for preaching is academia. My writings are based on that. If someone did not go to school, he does not even have a bachelor's, how are they going to understand what I am writing?
Yes.
So he said, it makes a lot of sense. All right, we have to close there. I need to go and do my puja. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Fortunately, my Guru Maharaj also, and same Radha the systems are that everyone is encouraged for study. Even Radha the whole model is you can't just jump into the ashram. You have to complete your education.
I like, see, in India, how we, the whole of Islam, will follow the format in Pune and Chopati. Our devotees are also crazy. I know one of Gopakrishna Goswami's disciples. She's a female. She's a doctor. She has a PhD now. Gopakrishna Maharaj asked her, instructed her to go get a PhD. And devotees in their community were preaching against her, that she was a Maya. So she was almost at the verge of dropping out. So I went to their community. I gave a class, Bhagavatam class, and then after the class, I was mentioning some things about encouraging young people to pursue their professional career along with their sadhana. So after the class, this lady came to me with one of my friends. She's late now. My friend is late. So she came with that lady to me to thank me. I said, Mataji, thanking me for what? I don't know you. She said, oh, the things you said in the class. Before she told me her story that Guru Maharaj, Gopakrishna Goswami, instructed her to go get a PhD. She is pursuing that project, but then the devotees that are around, they are preaching against that. I asked her, so your God brothers and God sisters' instructions and your Guru's instruction, which one are you going to take? She said, the Guru's instruction. I said, so don't worry, leave what people are saying. All right, you stop there, okay? I need to go. Srila Prabhupada, page. Anita, do I have some flowers and tulsi leaves there for puja? Huh?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not a Swami, okay? I don't tell people to stop your studies and go be brahmachari. I'm sorry, I'm not a Swami.
No, that's so nice. Otherwise, that will be burden on society.
No, but yeah, people don't care about that. They don't care. And there were certain things that even right from the day I joined this movement, there were certain things that were going on that I didn't like and I didn't support it at all. The Gurukul system, yes, it was set up by Prabhupada, but it was not pragmatic.
Yeah.
So right from day one, I joined, 25 years old, I did not accept a Gurukul system.
Yeah.
My point was that everybody is not going to be a pujari.
Yes.
The things they were teaching at that time were just purely devotional stuff only. Now the Gurukul, they've incorporated secular subjects. Some of these kids, they've even gone to become medical doctors. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm a leftist, radicalist.